Hey, thanks for coming to Lighthouse Week. So great to host you. Just let me give you a couple of thoughts. As Sovereign being the senior pastor of Lighthouse, I'm responsible to be the national community engagement leader for all of our movement, which puts me in the hot seat for 1,100 churches, helping them think about how they engage their community. I just want to do one simple thing. Let me get rid of this, Josh, out of the road or there so you can see the whiteboard. Somebody that grabbed that. That I talk to churches all about, just to help set a platform today, just so we don't go back over old methods. So I don't really know that National Church Life Survey shows us as churches, imagine, of course, we call this our faith spectrum. Imagine that that's people who are far from Christ, these are people who are Christians. Our survey shows us that predominantly the majority of resource, personnel and energy that churches in Australia put their time and effort in is right here. In fact, Henke just read the scripture, John 17. In John 17, Jesus told the disciples that the direction of the church is into the world. So I have a question for you. Why are our programs trying to get the world to us? I'm going to encourage you that in this dynamic, we create a method and a strategy that moves the church here, that moves people who are already saved to people that aren't saved. Most of our energy is put around building great Sundays, great gatherings, great services. For us, we do a simple thing. I want you to have a look on the screen. We do a simple thing that thinks about the way that we can engage community. Phil has already, I love all those stats and research. So the first thing is this, that we should discover. So discovering is about asset mapping your community and the church. So what we do is this, just like Phil has done already, we do this at a larger scale. We find out not the weaknesses, not the needs, but we find out the strengths, not what's wrong with our community, what's strong in our community. That we find out those assets, then we map the assets of the combined churches that we have here in the Illawarra and we link them together. The community assets and the church assets. In this room, just this room alone, there'd be incredible assets that are untapped. We're probably all doing individual things, not knowing that each other are doing the same thing somewhere along the line. Imagine if we got that together. The second thing is we've got to connect, as I said, those assets. We've got to connect through relationships and assets, connect ourselves to the community in such a way that we can work together. You know, at Lighthouse, we've changed the way we do community. We do less. We don't invent very many community programs. We would much rather partner with somebody in the community that's already doing it. I think those days are kind of gone where we just with blinkers on, we just literally kind of ignore the community even though they're doing great things as well. The second thing, of course, is we want to act on it. We want to share and work together to make the most out of what we do. So we want to be setting strategy. We want to be finding out who's doing it. We want to find out if it's even worth doing it. And lastly, I think this one we miss a lot is celebration. You know, I think we don't celebrate enough the great things that the Illawarra has. So we say this at Lighthouse. We don't go out there and find a need and meet it. We find out what our city loves and we go join them. It's the mates principle. Mates love to do what their mates love to do. And so we should find out everything that the Illawarra loves. And as churches, we should show up in those places. We should be a part of those things because there's nothing like that community saying, man, every time we do something that we love, the church community is there. They're right there next to us. They're doing what we love to do. And so those for us are 4 ways that we develop community engagement in and around what we do. It's what we teach right across Australia as well. Lastly, as I finish, I'm just working with a guy from the UK. At the moment. He's working nationally. He's partnered with Tim Costello, a guy called Matt Bird. You're going to get a copy from Cinnamon International. Cinnamon International has, across the UK, over 10 years, just achieved £3 billion worth of community engagement work led by local churches. In fact, there are a group of philanthropist guys who come in and they activate well-assessed, well-run and producing great fruit programs that churches together can adopt and do in the community based on the asset mapping that they've done. We're working with them already. I'm going to suggest that we look into some of those things. Tried and true, worked for 10 years and is working all around the world, and it brings churches together, not owned by any church or denomination, but owned by the multiple churches across the city. I'm done. Thanks.